Here's something Rich McKay said yesterday to try to explain what this balance is between legal Mark Andrews, which shouldn't be, but is,
right,
and the other ones that we showed that are illegal. I've heard defenders say before, and I hear them, hey, you're putting me in a really tough spot. You're saying I can't hit here, and what do I do? My response has always been, well, you can't do that. That's just because the guy you're hitting is defenseless. He has no way to protect himself. So we've got to protect him. We've got to come up with other ways. And you know what they do? Yes, we outlawed the hip drop, but what you may think are the drag from behind where he falls on that's still a tackle. Yeah. This is only that tackle where the player is lifting himself in the air and then falling on the legs. But, Chris, the rule doesn't say you have to lift yourself in the air. See, this is the problem I have with the entire rulemaking process. They know what they want to do, and there's nobody in the room who can take what they want to do and properly articulate it in the form of a rule. The rule doesn't say throw yourself in the air. It says unweight yourself, which is exactly what Logan Wilson did to Mark Andrews. That's why I'm having an issue with this. And I think what happened is last year they felt compelled to get the hip drop out of the game. They didn't have a cohesive, cogent, comprehensive rule that could be properly reduced to writing and voted on, so it died. Now this year, somebody in the league office decided, probably all the way up to the guy whose name is on the football, this has to go. This has to go. Make it go. So they do the best they can to make it go, and in the aftermath of it, we're like, well, what the hell? What's this rule? What's allowed? What's not allowed? This is what happens when everybody goes to the site of the league meeting, and it's part social, part business. It's got to be part business to justify the write-off. But then they get everybody in the room and they just cram this stuff through. They cram it through without talking it through, without thinking it through, and without understanding. There's a line here that isn't bright. There's no line in the concrete, as you would say. It's very blurry. And I don't think guys are going to know what is and what isn't allowed until we see some guys losing money from their game check and some guys not. And this guy's got to appeal, and maybe he wins, and maybe he doesn't. And maybe after 2, 3, 4 years, they'll finally understand. We'll all understand. But this is just another one of those. Remember how long it took the NFL to figure out what a catch is? This is even harder. What is and what isn't an illegal swivel, hip drop, unweight, throw your legs in the air? This is just an example of periodic, not all the time, gross incompetence by the NFL to take a problem and solve it in a way that makes sense. And I thought they were on the right track. I'm doing a 180 on this. I thought they were on the right track. I'm now at the point where I'm saying, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but y'all have screwed it up because this is going to be a mess going forward. Put me down now. I'm planting the flag in the ground now. This is going to be a mess going forward.
I mean, listen, I worry about it too. I mean, it definitely adds to questioning, how it'll be officiated, and can there be a different, how do I want to say this? Is there a way to differentiate, right, between a Logan Wilson tackle and the Tony Pollard tackle we saw on the video in real time? I don't disagree with you there.
Exactly.
They're going to be it's going to be very tough to see that. So that's where, I don't love that.
Here it is
and
in
they
a
confuse
nutshell,
it by,
Chris.
taking that off and saying that's not the hip drop tackle, because it's fine line language or whatever, right. Like we've talked about with other rules. The language doesn't always make sense, and that's what I think confuses the situation.
Here's the problem, and Miles Simmons and I were talking about this on Friday. We thought this was a know it when you see it situation. Shout out to Potter Stewart from the landmark Supreme Court case about determining obscenity. You know it when you see it. We thought with this, you know it when you see it. That's not the case now. That's the problem. That's the nutshell problem I have with this. It's no longer you know it when you see it, because I thought that was it, but it's not it. I thought Mark Andrews was it, but it's not it. So what the hell is it? And you don't need those in the NFL. You don't need those full speed, real time, flash, bang, bang. How in the hell? See, we're rarely going to see this called as a foul. This is all about creating an opportunity for the NFL to go take money out of guys' paychecks to get them to comply with a rule that they're not going to know what the hell it is. So maybe the end result is they're not even going to They're not even going to put their hand close to the flame. Maybe this is a way to get players to stop doing it altogether, because you never know when you're going to get the envelope in your locker 2 days later whacking you for whatever the specific number is going to be, $15,328.52.
right.
You know how those fines are. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Can we use round numbers, please? But you're never going to know when it's going to happen. That's my problem with it.
Yeah.
It's too vague. They took something that we thought was going to be clear and simple, and they've made it hopelessly complicated and vague.
Yeah, hopefully they'll clear that up, right? Well, whether it's a tape to the public, and of course I would think they show the players and try to help them, show what's legal, what's not legal, and maybe we have more conversations as we go forward here with the NFL where they can explain it to us. But yeah, that definitely, on a day where it was like, hey, cool, that's great. Yeah, it adds, like I keep saying, that little gray area. But the big thing too here, right, is it's not taught in practice, right? Nobody teaches anybody to tackle like that at all, right? And I understand defenders are paid to get guys down and all of that. I understand that. But, just like with, the illegal crackback block on defenders, right? And doing that. Right? Well, we're trying to make the game better. We didn't talk about, the defenders are soft and all of that. We recognize that, wow, you guys defenders are put at a vulnerable spot and people are cracking back when you guys aren't looking and knocking your damn heads off, right? Let's make the game better, right? I didn't hear defenders then going, man, they're making the game soft. They shouldn't do that, right? This is why this needs to be done. It's an endangerment to the brotherhood of your players. That's where it is. Can we show the league video one more time? Specifically, I want to show one more with the Ryan Tannehill play, right? I think it's about the third or fourth play. So, that's so egregious. And, we're lucky guys aren't losing their legs, like seriously here. These are broken bones out for the year. See you later, right? So that's horrible. It's got to go, okay? There, again, yes, just grab on, drop the body weight. Not as egregious maybe as the other two, but still dangerous. But here, if we can slow down the Ryan Tannehill one that's going to come up here in a second, here's my other big thing too. Because it's become such a guaranteed way to get guys down and do that, and because of the gloves like I talk about where nobody falls off anymore either, right? You add all that together, that's the route guys are taking. But a lot of the times, listen, there's Justin Madubuike. He doesn't need to do hip drop tackle to take down 220-pound Ryan Tannehill when he weighs 305 pounds. If he just held on and kept rolling and brought him, he would have brought Ryan Tannehill right down with him, right? And I know I'm not trying to fault Justin Madubuike, who's an amazing player, but these are ones where in the old days, the defender would have grabbed him and kept going and then just would have brought the guy down with him. But because of the gloves and because of the technique and it becoming so popular and it becoming a guaranteed way to get guys down, guys are just going, the hell with the normal tackle, the hell would I practiced all year, whatever, I'm just going to get them down right now. And that's where it's an endangerment to the NFL society that way.
Actually, in the old days, Madubuike would have gone in helmet first,
maybe
and blown
that
up
too.
Ryan Tannehill, or a pile driver like Turkey Joe Jones with Terry Bradshaw, although that was a violation of the rules even back in 1976 or thereabouts. Look, when the target is stationary, it's very easy to see the violation of the rule that they passed. And I'm with you on all this. And first of all, ignore what the defenders are saying. They always are going to complain about any rule that makes it harder for them to do their jobs. They're always going to complain about it, and the NFL is always going to ignore it. So that's just noise. But as it relates to what is and isn't allowed, what they're going to try to do is allow this drag to the ground from behind as long as you don't do
the horse collar,
the calf rope.
Oh yeah, or
the
that.
Calf rope.
Right.
Yeehaw!
Yeah.
It's got to have that yeehaw component to it where the guy gets the calf and throws his body out to pull the calf to the ground. You can still drag him down, but you can't slam him down. And where it's going to be very difficult to draw the line is when you're talking about a pursuit tackle. And, my first thought when this was a thing last year was the guy's got to get the ball carrier to the ground before he can get the ball to the line to gain or the goal line. The whole idea is stop the ball carrier as quickly as you can before he advances the ball. The whole game is about advancing the ball as far as you can. So this is where it's going to be tricky, and I wish it wasn't like this. And this is where I guess defensive players should be happy. They didn't completely take away their ability to tackle a player from behind. You just can't yell yeehaw and throw your legs up into the air and slam him to the ground.
Right.
You have to grab him and take him down, even though he can still break his ankle. That's where I'm struggling with this. They're allowing a maneuver that is still inherently unsafe to stay in the game.
Yeah.
And this is why when we see a pursuit in the pocket,
right,
in the tackle box, it's going to be hard because there's bodies everywhere. Did he really land on his leg? Is it really trapped? We're only going to see the flag, I think, in pursuit, where you have the yeehaw component, as I'll call it.
No doubt.
Where the guy, throws his legs up and slams the guy down.
That's right. If the guy's hanging on from behind, he's got his hands by his waist, right, like that, and now he's just pulling him down. He's going to use his body and just like that, but he's not going to throw his feet up in the air, but he's just going to drag him down. Yeah, they're going to let him go there. They're going to let that go. And I do think there's some nuance there, right, to where I would say when you are an offensive player in that situation, right, you can feel, wait, he's got me, he's bringing me down, right? I'm in a tough spot, I'm about to go down, and you can get your feet out of the ground, right? The problem with what we're talking with a hip drop tackle for an offensive player is you're getting stuck, and now because of the dropping and the total weightlessness of like, hey, the defender's just going to go dead weight and all that, offensive guys can't get their legs out of the ground. They can't. So now, wait, I know I'm in a vulnerable position. Oh, no, right? But, oh, gosh, there's a guy that's 265 pounds on my back, and I can't lift my leg, and he's actually pulling me down as he's doing this in the process, and now I can't get my leg out of the ground, and now I have a broken ankle or a dislocated ankle, like a Dak Prescott, like we talked about a few years ago or whatever. That's I think, there is a little nuance to that. Even though the other one's still not the safest thing in the world, right? Don't get me wrong. I do think there's a little bit of a difference there and a safety issue or less of a safety issue for offensive guys.
This is something that's not going to go away. And I had a vision during something you were saying earlier of our annual meeting with the NFL where we go over all these rule changes. And let's just say the conversation will be robust during that session as we all try to understand what is and what is not a violation of the rules. And hopefully they'll have it refined by then. Hopefully it'll all make sense by then. Jeff Miller, the head of VP and safety for the NFL, said yesterday that there were 230 illegal hip drop tackles last year, resulting in 15 players missing time due to injury. They're trying to reduce the injuries. My point continues to be, if the Mark Andrews play is legal, are you really doing what you set out to do? Time will tell. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.